This picture was created from insights and experiences shared by hundreds of IAM members, representing a huge range of organizations and industries. Our question was this: what does it feel like to be on the asset management journey? The resulting picture is designed to be used as a large poster to stimulate conversation in your business about where you are on the journey. Hard copies are available from the IAM website. Before they start the journey, most organizations find themselves making asset-related decisions reactively and in isolation. Cost, risk, and performance all need to be factored in, but each factor has its own team, its own specialism, and its own language, and no one seems to be able to translate between them. Here's a typical organization. The leadership team, who make the strategic decisions at the top, are far removed from the reality of the assets at the bottom. There's a clearly understood pecking order from finance and planning down through projects and engineering to operations and maintenance at the bottom. Each bubble represents an individual tribe with its own leaders, language, customs, rituals, assumptions. Decisions are taken based on the limited information that's available locally and therefore tend to be very reactive. Here's a typical example. Something happens to an asset that causes a major disruption. This could be anything: a material failure, an environmental incident, a technical fault. Amidst the panic, there's excitement because those first on the scene feel pride in their ability to handle the crisis, and heroic behavior is something the culture rewards. In the immediate aftermath, the risk tribe homes in on the incident and tries to eliminate the possibility of it happening elsewhere. Because the causes are unknown, they make sweeping decisions, which the engineering tribe across the way sees as an overreaction. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be any way of translating the engineer's experience and intuitions into a risk model that the risk people will understand. The maintenance people are upset because they'd been warning about this for years. Now customers start leaving as service declines, with direct financial consequences. As cash dries up, finance start delaying capital investment, which leads indirectly to further incidents, and round we go again. Notice some of the things going on here. Everyone's making good decisions based on their own limited understanding of the world. These are good people. They have certificates, standards, and processes. Unfortunately, they're contributing to a system that, as a whole, is not making the best possible decisions because they're not made from the perspective of the overall system. Add to this a multitude of external contractors, suppliers, and outsourcers, and the idea of making joined-up whole system decisions can seem hopeless. So how do organizations move on from here? The energy for change comes from two sources: top-down and bottom-up. Starting with the bottom-up energy, many businesses already have a groundswell of pioneers trying to break down the barriers. These people know the business needs collective decision-making and are building networks across boundaries to try and make this happen. As for the top-down, sometimes the impetus is personal, as senior leaders take responsibility for change. Other times it's external pressures from owners, regulators, and the like. This often leads to a drive for certification. Unfortunately, it's not uncommon for businesses to push for PAS 55 or ISO 55000 status, put the certificate on the wall, then promptly revert to their old ways of doing things. We need more than this. ISO 55000 certification is in many ways the start rather than the end of the journey. The standard gives a framework for reconnecting the assets and the organizational objectives in business decision-making. The biggest difference now is that at least people are sitting collectively around the table to make decisions. What this reveals, though, is just how much is missing before these decisions will start looking optimal. The clouds represent some of the things that are getting in the way. Looking upwards to the strategic objectives, these are often unclear, expressed in contradictory language, and point to competing agendas. Looking down towards the assets, without the historical data, we end up relying on proxies and assumptions. Many of the processes that give us the information are not yet defined or embedded. With such an imperfect system, the big danger is cynicism that the organization as a whole isn't going to change. This can lead back into blame games. For example, the business may have invested in a decision support tool that no one really understands. Local maintenance staff then feel aggrieved that their professional judgment is being ignored. At the same time, an increase in awareness of asset management concepts and techniques can lead to a real sense of empowerment. The danger is that unless the culture changes as well, empowerment just fuels the creation of new silos. Although this stage may be imperfect, just having a system that brings people together to make decisions will inevitably yield quick wins, providing impetus for further investment in transformation activities. Unfortunately, these activities can't all happen at once. So there need to be winners and losers, as interventions are prioritized according to what will yield the greatest benefits for the whole. But in a way, this is the shape of things to come. Until individual teams are prepared to accept that the right decision for the overall business may appear to be the wrong decision for them locally, optimal asset management decisions will not be possible. So, looking forward, what is an optimal asset management decision? We can state in general terms that it's the decision that maximizes the long-term value of assets by aligning them to the objectives and purpose of the business. But what that looks like will vary markedly from business to business and industry to industry. That said, there are a number of factors that all outstanding asset management organizations have in common. Firstly, they have leaders who walk the talk. They don't just tell people to collaborate, they model what collaboration looks like. Secondly, these organizations embed asset management as a philosophy of continuous improvement, rather than seeing it as a one-time transformation program. It's an ongoing journey, not a destination. Thirdly, it's apparent that everyone is playing their part, whatever their role or seniority. The formal policies and management system provide a framework for integrated decision-making, but these organizations are very fluid in how insights and information flow from team to team. An example of this is how the organization treats its data. Good decisions rely on good information. With a shared understanding of the decisions they need to make, teams can reach a consensus about the information they need to make those decisions, and the best way to get hold of and maintain it collaboratively, which may or may not involve IT systems. In an asset management culture, information is treated as an asset and cared for in its own right, for the good of the entire organization, as well as for future generations. But perhaps the most striking difference in an organization with a culture of asset management is what it feels like to be part of. Because the organization is always learning and improving, risks become more contained and incidents become far less frequent. This creates space to think more expansively about the possibilities for greater innovation, about the longer-term future, about what could be learned from other industries, or even about the organization's very reasons for existing. This is the journey our members have described to us. So where are you? What elements of the picture seem most familiar to you? Who do you need to talk to move things forward in your business? The IAM has been helping many organizations and individuals learn and understand more about these challenges and, importantly, how to meet them. Why not find out more about our resources and guidance? Here are some of our activities, products and services. Maybe you'd like to participate in our community. And of course, all these resources are free or discounted to members.